Welcome back to my Subaru. Today I'm asking the question, if opportunity knocks, will you be ready? So on Fridays, I will usually be talking about time management. Today is a little different. It's kind of more of a story time. I decided to slide it into time management because it has some businessy aspects, and also because it involves one of my time management products, my calendar. A lot of what I'm going to talk about today is a little bit specific to physical product-based businesses. Hopefully you can find some lessons in what I'm talking about that apply to your situation. My primary source of income for the past 5 years has been a product-based business. I sell stationery on Etsy. I don't talk about it a lot on here. I'm not here to sell you my stuff. You're welcome to go check my shop out. It's my name. Over the past 3 years, I've made an intentional shift away from carrying labor-intensive products and doing a little more with products, especially I have a local printer that I work with. They're great. I've used them for a long time, even for the things that I print myself. They cut my paper. They do all sorts of little things for me, and I've, especially with the notepad type of products, the planner notepads that are not personalized, I can have them print a bunch at one time, so my printing costs are lower than if I would have them done one at a time. And it's also so nice, I just send them the files, bring them the paper, and then a few days later I pick up the pads. I have definitely been shifting more toward doing not so custom products. And that happens to a lot of people when they start on Etsy. You start off thinking, you just let me know what colors you want in this little handmade whatever thing that I'm going to spend 6 hours on, and you're going to pay $3 for, and that's not going to make you any money. That's something, when I talk to people who are getting started on Etsy, one of the first things that I talk to people about is scalability, and can you handle it? If you suddenly got 20 orders tomorrow, would you panic? And the answer is probably yes, emotionally, but should you be panicking because you can't fill the orders? That's something you need to think about. So calendars have been doing pretty well lately. I start running like 18-month calendars that start in July, and then each month through November last year. I just have one fewer page printed. And then I do a big run in September because lots of people are doing like back to school time, and people are starting to think about getting themselves back together. I love what Gretchen Rubin says. She always says, September is the other January. And it is, because I am definitely that way. Even when I didn't have kids in school, I've always had that feeling of like, fall is the time to start new things. And that's when you want to get yourself pulled together. So I do find that people buy calendars in September. So I've been selling a fair number of those. I sold 16 last week, which was an unusually good week. And honestly, I had not counted my inventory, which I should have done. Did not realize I was down to 10, which is really fewer than I should be having on hand. I keep my inventory pretty lean because I can just run to my printer. I can usually have them ready to ship out the next day. Once in a while, I keep my paper supply pretty lean, which we'll run into in a second. So Tuesday afternoon, I had a bunch of running around to do in the evening, so I finished my orders kind of early. I had like 4 to take to the post office. It wasn't a big deal. Like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, finished putting my boxes together. Just before 3, I sit down to print the labels. I'm going to walk them over to the post office. There's a little post office. It's adorable. And there's a little post office. It's in the gas station. There's also Dunkin' Donuts in there. It's like half a block from my house. So I just walk my things over there. So I'm getting ready to walk over there. And also, little Miss Bailey is in the habit, totally let her get into the routine of when I come back from the post office, we're gonna go for a little walk. I sit down to print out my shipping labels, and I noticed there are like 8 new orders, which is weird. I think it had been a half an hour since the last time I looked at my phone. And sometimes you do get orders in clusters. Having 2 or 3 wouldn't be that odd. There was 8. And I'm like, what the heck is up with that? But I just wanted to get my stuff done because I wanted to walk the dog and get back before the kids got home. Take my stuff over to the post office. I look and I see that everything that's selling are calendars. And they're all starting with September. And sales keep coming in and keep coming in. And at that point, I had not checked my inventory. I did not know I only had 10 in stock. I think they're set to ship like 1 to 3 days. And I typically ship them the next day. But all of a sudden, I'm getting all these orders. And I couldn't figure out where they're coming from. So I think I sent 2 messages to people just because I didn't even know how quickly someone would get back to me. I sent 2 messages to buyers to be like, thank you for your order. I just wanted to make sure this wasn't some kind of a glitch. I've just received a ton of orders for the calendar in a short period of time. They both got back to me actually right away. And they told me that a very popular blogger named Brooklyn Blonde, her Instagram name is Brooklyn Blonde 1, and she had mentioned my calendar in her Instagram story, and because she's got a big account, she's got one of those things where you can just do the swipe up. She can link to anything and swipe up. So her hundreds of thousands of people who follow her all have access to swiping up to her saying, and I didn't give this to her promotionally. She just bought it. She just liked it. There's a lot that people do to try to get things going. And honestly, I can tell you from myself, the recommendations that I put the most stock in are the ones where people just love a product and they tell me about it. Like, once I figured out that all these orders were coming in, I didn't know how many I had left, but I did extend the shipping time so that the in-house time, I have about a week, so I'll be able to get most of those out on time. So I went into the house, figured out how to thank the blogger. I think I mentioned her in my Instagram story, and she mentioned me back, and it was great. So I thanked the blogger. I placed an order for paper. So you're seeing this on Friday. My paper, if all goes well, and it looks like it is, the paper will be here this afternoon. I will hopefully be able to get it over to my printer in time that they'll be able to print it on Saturday, and I'll be able to ship them out on Monday. So I ordered the paper, thank the blogger, and then panic. Because there was nothing I could do to make it happen. The paper that I stock is not something that my regular printer carries. I did go in the following morning to see if they had anything in stock that I thought was good enough, because I could have taken something that's like really similar to what I typically use. They were showing me all these different options, and I'm picky. You guys who watch me try on clothing know I'm picky. And that means that I turn out a pretty consistent product. I fall in love with paper, and once I've fallen in love with a type of paper, that's the type of paper I want to give my clients. I have one supplier I use for cotton paper for personalized stationery, and I have one supplier I use for the planning products. It's 2 different weights and there's different sizes and stuff, but that's my paper, and I love writing on it. It is such amazing paper. A printer that I've used in the past had given me a sample, had just given me some of these. I just needed something for a job that I was doing, and he just sold me 50 sheets or whatever, and I was like, I love this paper. What is this paper? I need this paper in my life. I need to share this paper with the world. That's how I decided to start selling planning products, because I fell in love with this stinking paper. So it is hard for me to go, yeah, that's similar. That's pretty good. It's kind of more gray than white, and it's feels kind of slippery under your pen. No. And in the end, I ended up with like 60 orders within 24 hours. No, it's actually more than that, because I sent out 11. I ended up with 60 more that need to go out. So it's about 70 that I sold. And there are still orders coming in. But the amount of stress that I had, like a terrible night, because I was so worried. And it's that time when you can't really do anything about it. My printer leaves at 5. I had done everything I could do, and there were still more orders coming in. And I'm like, I hope I can fill these. I hope I don't have to cancel these. It made me think of one of my favorite quotes from Oscar Wilde. There are only 2 tragedies in life. One is not getting what one wants. The other is getting it. So sometimes we're just not prepared for everything to come together and you get what you think you want. We're not prepared. So I was a little panicky. I'll update you in the comments when they finally ship. Whew. So if you're product based, what I'm going to say is keep your supplies on hand. Know how much inventory you have. Those are things I did not do well enough. And the big one is be sure your products are not overly labor intensive, because if I had messed up those other things and messed this up, I would have had to cancel orders. It would have been sad, because you really have to make hay while the sun shines. If you're not product based, I don't know the bullet points that you're looking at, but just be sure to expect the best, prepare for the worst. I say prepare for the best too, because sometimes the best requires other preparations. Do what you need to do to be ready if opportunity strikes. If you're new to my channel, click subscribe below. See you Sunday.